Hi and welcome to module 1.3 which is money and fractions part 1. Let's start with money. This symbol, do you recognize it? Yes, it is a pound sign which is used in the United Kingdom. This is a dollar sign and this is a euro sign. So when we do money, it's very important to have the right sign. So for example, if I said £5.52, you would write £5.52, but you start off here with a pound sign, and that tells us it's £5.52. Notice that we always do money to two decimal places. You wouldn't write, for example, if I said £5.50, you never write £5.5. You never do that. You'll have to add in the 0, which makes it £5.50, and it's complete. Yes, you have to add in the 0, so it has to have two decimal places when you have to put the pence in. Now, if you have, for example, 67 pence, there's two ways you can write it. Just watch this. Two ways. You could do this: 0.67, and you put the pound sign here, so that means 67 pence, or 67 with a P at the end, or pence. These are the two ways of writing. So when you're doing a test with the London Tutors, you can either write it this way with a pound sign or with a pence sign. Yes? Now, if, for example, you forget to put the pound sign, and I wanted you to write £103 and you did 103, but you forgot to put this in, we will consider that as wrong. Now, if it's £103.20, then you have to put a dot and then a 2 and a 0. And then that's complete. You cannot write this. It means nothing to us. What does that mean? 103.20 doesn't mean anything. You put the pound sign, then it means, oh, this is money. So very important to know that. Now, how do we convert pennies and pounds and things like that? So if, for example, we have 35p, how do we convert that into pounds? It'll be 0.35 with a pound symbol here. Makes sense? If it's £1.76, to convert that into pennies, it will be 176p. So you need to know that, how to convert, especially when we give tests. Now we go on to fractions part 1. Very simple. All we need to do is this. For example, if it says in a question 3 divided by 5, how would you put that in a fraction format? Well, this is how you do it. You put the 3 on the top and then the 5 on the bottom. Anything which is divided by a number, the first part will always go on the top, and the bottom, the second part will be on the bottom. So the first part is the numerator and the second part is the denominator. Let's try this. 10 divided by 3. So the first part will be 10 and 3 will be at the bottom. Make sense? For example, let's say we had 13 divided by 26. What do you do? What's the first thing you do? Sometimes we get confused. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? So it's very simple. You put the 13 on the top and the 26 on the bottom. Then you cancel it and it becomes a half. Yeah? You always have to cancel fractions. Incidentally, when you see a 13 and a 26, the 13 will be in the box and the 26 will be on the outside. That's how you know which number to put in the box. This 13 goes in the box. The first one of the division goes in the box. Okay. Here's another thing that we need to know. I'm going to draw a rectangle here. It's not Picasso, but it will do. Sometimes I'm trying to write clearly, but the pen is not really a great pen, and so then it causes problems. How many rectangular shapes can you see? How many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 20 within this rectangle. 20 little rectangles. If I shade this, I shade this, and I shade that. What fraction of the 20 is shaded? The answer is 2 out of 20, but you cancel it and it becomes 1 out of 10. So this would be your actual answer, not the 2 out of 20. Yes, 2 out of 20 are shaded, but naturally we're expecting you to cancel it. So the question will be, if it specifically says out of 20 how many are shaded, that's fine, 2 out of 20. But if it says what is the fraction that is shaded, it will be 1 out of 10. Yeah? Alright, next thing is, I would say, the most important topic for the week, which most of the questions will be based upon. Changing a mixed number to improper and an improper to mixed. This is a mixed fraction, 1.5. Mixed because you've got a whole number here which is 1, and then you've got a fraction, so it's mixed. This is an improper fraction, 10/3. It's called improper naturally because it's not proper. But the other reason it's called improper, it's not how we like to have our fraction answers. Our fraction answers, if it looks at 10/3, it should be cancelled or changed to 1.5, or sorry, to a mixed fraction. But let's just look at this. Improper or top heavy? Yes, improper or top heavy? Top heavy is easier to understand because the top is larger than the bottom. Okay, but for example 10/3 would be what? If we want to convert this into a mixed fraction, how many 3's go into 10? 3, because 3 times 3 makes 9. What's left over from 10 minus 9? 1, and then you've got 3 at the bottom. This is how we like our answers. If you have a question in fractions, we like to have it converted to this format rather than the top heavy format. When you do GCSE maths, they like both. You can have top heavy or you can have mixed. Alright, so now let's do some top heavy to mixed. So I've got 13/2. So how many 2's comfortably go into 13? That makes 6 with a remainder of 1/2. How do you test it? You do 6 times 2, which is 12, plus the 1 on the top makes it 13. 6 times 2 is 12, plus the 1 makes it 13. Here's another one. Try this one. 25/3. Pause the video and try it. Okay. How many 3's comfortably go into 25? 8 times, with a remainder of 1/3. Does it make sense? And you can test it. You do 8 times by 3, which is 24, and then you plus the 1, which makes it 25. So that's converting top heavy to mixed. That's what you're going to get in your test. Then you're going to get converting mix to top heavy. So let's say 1.25. Again, you do the 1 times 4, which is 4, plus the 1 at the top, which makes it 5. So it becomes 5/4. This means 5 quarters. So let's just do this. How many quarters are in a whole? 4. Yeah? 4 quarters are in a whole. A whole is made up of 4 quarters. Makes sense? Or in another way, 100 is made up of 4 25s. 4 times 25 is 100. But in this situation, you got one whole, which is this circle, and then you got an additional quarter, which is here. So then how many quarters have we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hence 5 over 4 is equivalent to saying 1 1/4. Make sense? Okay. Let's try one more. Let's see if you can do it. 3 1/2. How do we convert that to top heavy? Try it. Okay. 3 times 2 is 6. Yes? So 3 times 2 is 6. Plus the 1 makes it 7. Hence 7 over 2. Hence 7 halves. 3 1/2 is made up of 7 halves. So let's see how many halves in a whole. 1, 2, that's a whole. 1, 2, that's a second whole. 1, 2, and that's a third. And then you've got this additional one here. So let's count it. There's 2, 4, 6, 7. 3 1/2 is 7 over 2. And that concludes the topic of module 1.3.